Imagine an orphan, alone in the world, stumbling upon an ancient diary. But this isn't just any old book. It's a meticulously kept record revealing a hidden family fortune. What if everything you thought you knew about your past was a lie, and untold riches were waiting to be discovered, all thanks to a forgotten secret? This profound thought, though unarticulated, often lingered in Elara's mind as she spent her 17 years navigating the echoing halls of St. Augustine's orphanage, a place where dreams often withered and futures felt predetermined. Her days were a monotonous cycle of chores and lessons, punctuated only by quiet moments of escape into the dusty attic, a forgotten space filled with discarded remnants of lives lived before. Her most cherished possession was a worn copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, its pages dog-eared from countless readings. Within its fantastical depths, she found a reflection of her own unspoken longing for adventure and discovery. The orphanage offered stability but never belonging, and Elara often wondered if a different life, a vibrant one, existed beyond its towering, indifferent walls, perhaps even a secret one that mirrored the grand tales in her books. The other orphans saw her as quiet, perhaps even aloof, but inside, Elara harbored a fierce, unwavering spirit. She had a keen eye for detail, a sharp analytical mind, and a deep-seated curiosity that the orphanage, despite its best efforts, had never managed to extinguish. These quiet dreams were her only true companions, whispered to the rafters of the attic in the dead of night, fueled by a nagging feeling that there was more to her story. One particularly dreary afternoon, while tidying the orphanage library, Elara discovered a small, intricately carved wooden chest tucked away on a top shelf, almost entirely obscured by a forgotten stack of old hymnals. It felt strangely out of place, as if it had been waiting for her, patiently gathering dust. There was no label, no indication of its owner, but as her fingers brushed the cold wood, a jolt of premonition struck her. What if everything you thought you knew about your past was a lie? This chest felt like the answer to that unspoken question. Inside, nestled amongst faded silks that gave off a faint scent of lavender, lay a journal bound in worn leather. Its pages, brittle with age, were filled with elegant, looping script and intricate sketches. It wasn't just any old book. It was a meticulously kept record, filled with cryptic entries and strange symbols. Elara traced the faded initials on the cover, E.A., a chill running down her spine as the profound implication of her find began to sink in, hinting at untold riches waiting to be discovered. The chest and its contents felt like a deliberate offering, a misplaced fragment of a forgotten world, placed there just for her. This wasn't a random find. It was a personal connection, speaking directly to her yearning for answers. A flicker of excitement ignited within her, a powerful premonition that this unassuming journal held far more than just faded memories, but perhaps a key to the forgotten secrets of her own identity and the elusive family fortune. Elara carefully turned the first few pages of the diary, her breath hitched with anticipation. The initial entries were somewhat mundane, chronicling daily life, but soon, veiled references to vast investments, acquisitions, and extensive properties began to appear. The writer, whom she now suspected was one of her ancestors, spoke of assets not in vague terms, but with a quiet confidence that hinted at immense wealth. The phrase from her earlier thought echoed, "untold riches waiting to be discovered." She pored over the elegant script, her mind reeling, noting the subtle but persistent mention of the London Ventures, the Continental Holdings, and the Secure Vault. It was a slow, deliberate unveiling of a legacy, as if the author intended for their eventual discoverer to appreciate the true scale of their endeavors. This journal was far more than a personal account. It was a financial chronicle, hinting at a family fortune thanks to a forgotten secret. The diary didn't explicitly state fortune, but the accumulation of these details painted a vivid picture of extraordinary prosperity. It contradicted everything she'd been told about her humble, unknown origins. Elara felt a strange blend of bewilderment and exhilaration, sensing that a powerful, long-forgotten secret was slowly, thrillingly, revealing itself through these cryptic clues, forever changing her understanding of her past. As Elara delved deeper into the aged journal, a distinct motif began to emerge, woven subtly into the page borders and drawn alongside some of the more significant entries. It was a stylized crest, depicting a soaring eagle clutching a key in its talons, its wings majestically unfurled. The image suggested both boundless freedom and exclusive access to hidden knowledge. This intricate design immediately struck her as a powerful identifier, a symbol of a lineage far grander than any she had ever known. It wasn't the humble background she'd always been told was hers. This was a testament to a family name that once commanded respect and influence, a lineage of power and prosperity. The eagle and key resonated deeply, hinting at a path forward. The recurrence of the crest solidified her conviction that this was indeed a family heirloom, meant for her eyes. Each appearance of the symbol felt like a silent confirmation, a direct message from the past, guiding her through the layers of secrecy. The crest was more than just an emblem. It was her first tangible link to a forgotten identity. The entries in the diary were not straightforward narratives, but a complex tapestry of elegant script interwoven with cryptic symbols, astronomical charts, and seemingly random dates. Elara realized that Elias Ainsworth, her ancestor, had deliberately encoded his most important information, transforming the journal into a formidable intellectual challenge. Her keen analytical mind, honed by years of observation, was now put to the ultimate test. Hours blurred into days as she meticulously cross-referenced entries, comparing the unusual symbols to historical events and scientific diagrams she found in the orphanage's meager library. She discovered that the symbols were not arbitrary, but corresponded to specific alchemical signs, ancient constellations, and obscure historical ciphers. It was a multi-layered enigma, designed to deter all but the most dedicated. Each deciphered phrase, each unlocked symbol, brought a rush of intellectual triumph. Elara felt a profound connection to Elias, sensing his brilliant mind at work across the centuries. This act of code-breaking wasn't just about uncovering secrets. It was about understanding her ancestor, piecing together the fragments of his genius that echoed her own burgeoning intellect. As Elara broke through the diary's intricate codes, a vivid tapestry of family history began to unfurl, revealing a lineage far grander and more influential than she could have ever conceived. Her ancestor, Elias Ainsworth, emerged from the pages not as a distant, forgotten figure, but as a brilliant, enigmatic entrepreneur who had built an empire through shrewd investments and innovative ventures. His entries spoke of the Ainsworth name, one that once commanded respect and immense influence. She learned of a lineage stretching back generations, intertwined with significant historical events and figures. There were veiled mentions of family members who were scholars, innovators, and even explorers, each contributing to the family's growing wealth and intellectual prowess. The stark, unfeeling walls of the orphanage, her only known home, now felt like a cruel irony, a jarring contrast to the opulence and intellectual vibrancy her family once enjoyed. The diary painted a picture of a family that valued discretion and secrecy, meticulously guarding their wealth and profound knowledge. This explained her own obscure origins. It wasn't a lack of family, but a deliberate protective concealment. Elara felt a strange, potent mix of awe at the legacy she was uncovering, and a deep, simmering resentment for the years of deprivation she had endured, unknowing of her true heritage. A sudden, dramatic shift in the diary's content marked the true turning point in Elara's understanding. Elias Ainsworth's meticulous records transitioned from historical accounts and financial summaries to a series of complex, multi-layered riddles, each more intricate than the last. These weren't mere puzzles, they were precise directions disguised as poetic verse and symbolic diagrams. Elara's breath hitched as she realized the undeniable truth. The diary wasn't simply a chronicle of her family's past or a record of their vast wealth. It was a meticulously crafted treasure map leading to a hidden fortune. Elias had anticipated that only a descendant with a similar mind would be capable of deciphering his intricate clues, safeguarding the legacy from unworthy hands. The realization sent a jolt of adrenaline through her. Every cryptic entry, every peculiar sketch, now held a new, urgent meaning. The fortune wasn't merely hinted at, it was waiting, locked behind a series of intellectual challenges. This wasn't just history. This was her destiny, laid out in parchment and ink, beckoning her toward an extraordinary quest. The weight of the diary's revelations, particularly the confirmed existence of a family fortune and her undeniable lineage, filled Elara with a surging conviction. The quiet dreams she had nurtured in the orphanage attic suddenly felt tangible, within reach. Her life, once a blank slate, was now imprinted with a glorious, adventurous purpose. This newfound sense of identity brought with it an exhilarating wave of hope. The years of feeling unseen and unheard began to recede, replaced by the profound understanding that she was part of something grand, something that had been waiting for her. The future, once a bleak and uncertain landscape, now shimmered with possibility. Elara clutched the diary, its worn leather a comforting presence in her hands. This wasn't just about riches. It was about connection, belonging, and a sense of purpose she had craved her entire life. A powerful current of excitement flowed through her, signaling the true beginning of her journey, leaving the orphanage and her old self behind. The sheer weight of the diary's revelations made it clear. Elara could no longer remain confined within the drab walls of St. Augustine's. To pursue this incredible inheritance, she had to shed the chains of her past. Meticulously, she planned her departure, saving every precious penny she earned from odd jobs and carefully gathering the few essentials she possessed. Her heart pounded with a tumultuous mix of fear and exhilarating freedom as the appointed night approached. The city lights, twinkling in the distance beyond the orphanage gates, seemed like distant promises, beckoning her toward an unknown but undeniably rich destiny. This was a metaphorical as well as literal leap, stepping into the vast unknown. Under the cloak of pre-dawn darkness, Elara slipped out of the orphanage, leaving behind the only home she had ever known. The ancient diary, clutched tightly in her hand, felt like a powerful beacon, guiding her towards the first clue. Her extraordinary journey had truly begun, a solitary pursuit for a legacy that was rightfully hers. Elara found herself amidst the bustling city streets, a jarring contrast to the quiet, regimented life of the orphanage. Her limited funds, quickly dwindling, presented her first immediate challenge. Navigating the crowded thoroughfares and deciphering street signs became an unexpected test of her resourcefulness, a stark reminder of her isolated upbringing. The first direct clue in the diary led her to an ancient clock tower, its Gothic spires piercing the morning sky. The riddle's mention of the sun's first kiss upon stone suggested a precise time and angle. She waited patiently, the diary open to the relevant page, until the sun began its slow ascent, the minutes ticking by with agonizing slowness. As the first rays of light touched the tower's highest gargoyle, a shadow stretched across the ground, aligning perfectly with a faded carving on the pavement. It was an arrow, almost imperceptible beneath years of grime, pointing towards a narrow, forgotten alleyway she'd never noticed before. This initial success, however, was quickly overshadowed by the growing awareness of her vulnerability and isolation. Following the arrow from the clock tower, Elara eventually found a forgotten bronze plaque hidden beneath years of grime. Etched into its surface was a single cryptic word: Veritas. Driven by this profound clue, she frequented the city's old libraries, hoping to find a connection, a historical context for the Ainsworth family. During one such visit, an elderly archivist, Mr. Silas, noticed her intense focus on archaic texts and historical maps. To Elara's astonishment, Mr. Silas recognized the Ainsworth crest she had inadvertently sketched while deep in thought. He spoke of the Ainsworth family, a prominent lineage shrouded in mystery after their sudden disappearance generations ago. He even recalled whispers of their vast wealth and a reputation for unusual interests, validating Elara's incredible story with his own fragmented knowledge. Mr. Silas, it turned out, was a distant acquaintance of the Ainsworth family, though he'd never known their full story. He possessed a few old letters and documents related to them, which he willingly shared. These documents, though not explicitly revealing the fortune, confirmed Elias Ainsworth's intellectual pursuits and penchant for complex puzzles, solidifying the diary's authenticity and deepening the mystery, while also providing Elara with a much-needed, trusted ally. Elara's research at the library, significantly aided by Mr. Silas's surprising knowledge, began to draw unwanted attention. One evening, as she left the archives, the fading twilight casting long shadows, she noticed a tall, slender figure lingering in the mouth of an alleyway she had just passed. A shiver ran down her spine. It felt like more than a coincidence, a prickle of unease that settled deep in her gut. The next day, as she revisited the clock tower, cross-referencing information with a new clue from the diary, she saw the same figure again. This time, he wasn't just observing from a distance. He was actively searching, his gaze sweeping over the same ground where she had found her first clue just days before. Elara quickly ducked out of sight, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. The realization hit her with the force of a physical blow. She wasn't alone in this pursuit. The Ainsworth fortune wasn't just forgotten. It was perhaps actively protected, or worse, sought by others. This ominous encounter heightened the stakes, transforming her personal quest into a dangerous game of hide-and-seek, with unknown adversaries now closing in. Back in her cramped rented room, the presence of the shadowy figure now a chilling reality, Elara revisited the diary with renewed urgency. She focused on the astrological charts and celestial diagrams that had seemed merely decorative before. Now, with the threat of pursuit looming, she recognized patterns that linked the family crest, specific dates, and constellations. This was Elias's ultimate cipher, a celestial roadmap. Elias Ainsworth had meticulously recorded astronomical alignments that correlated with crucial historical moments for the family, dates that now held a deeper, coded meaning. Elara realized these weren't just observations. They were a complex code, a layered key to unlock the next phase of her journey. The gilded compass, as mentioned in an earlier riddle, wasn't a physical object, but a metaphorical device to interpret cosmic positions and timelines. With a surge of understanding, she deciphered a sequence of celestial coordinates hidden within the intricate star charts. They pointed not to a physical street address, but to a specific point on an old, forgotten map of the city's lesser-known waterways. The next location, shrouded in the city's ancient network of canals, was tied to the movements of the stars, a secret held only by the heavens and the Ainsworth family. The celestial coordinates, painstakingly deciphered from Elias's star charts, led Elara far from the city's bustling heart to a network of ancient, disused canals shrouded in a permanent twilight beneath crumbling archways. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and forgotten history, and the murky water reflected the skeletal silhouettes of derelict buildings. Each step felt like a passage back in time, deeper into the Ainsworth past. Following the diary's intricate instructions, which spoke of the hidden pulse of the forgotten river, she located a particular support beam beneath a crumbling stone bridge. Etched into the weathered stone, barely visible beneath years of grime and moss, was the distinctive Ainsworth eagle crest. It was a subtle, almost invisible marker, designed to be found only by someone who knew precisely where to look and possessed the patience to find it. Near the crest, a small, waterproof compartment was ingeniously concealed. Inside, Elara found a heavy, ornate locket containing a miniature portrait of a woman who bore a striking resemblance to her mother, Amelia. Below the portrait, a single engraved word shimmered: hope. The locket and the hidden message it contained were not the fortune itself, but the final, undeniable proof of her direct lineage, a tangible connection to the family she had sought. The true heart of the mystery was now within reach. The locket containing Amelia's portrait also held a tiny, rolled-up parchment with a new set of coordinates. These led Elara away from the city entirely, deep into a forgotten, overgrown valley she never knew existed. There, nestled amongst ancient trees and shrouded in a thick mist, stood the ancestral home of the Ainsworth family, a magnificent but dilapidated mansion. The gates, rusted and half-buried beneath years of encroaching ivy, bore the familiar eagle crest, now looking more grand and imposing in its original setting. As she pushed them open, a profound sense of belonging washed over her, a feeling she had never experienced in her entire life at the orphanage. The vast wild grounds, though untamed, resonated with echoes of her family's past. The diary had described the estate in vivid detail, and Elara knew its hidden corners and secret passages intimately, even though she'd never set foot there before. It was as if Elias Ainsworth had prepared her for this very moment, guiding her every step of the way, even across centuries. The true heart of the mystery and her ultimate inheritance lay within these ancient walls. Inside the mansion, dust motes danced in the slivers of light piercing through broken windows, illuminating faded tapestries and antique furniture draped in white sheets. Following the diary's intricate clues, which spoke of the mind's true treasure, Elara finally unlocked a hidden passage behind a grand, crumbling fireplace mantel. It led to a network of labyrinthine corridors beneath the house. These passages, far from being mere tunnels, were designed with intricate puzzles and subtle traps, clearly intended to deter unwanted intruders and protect the invaluable contents within. Elias Ainsworth had been a master of concealment, ensuring that only a true descendant, capable of intellectual prowess, could navigate his elaborate defenses. The journey through these dark corridors was a testament to his genius. The final passage led Elara to a vast underground vault, its heavy iron door sealed with an ancient, complex lock bearing the Ainsworth crest. But as the tumblers clicked into place and the door creaked open, she found something far more profound than gold or jewels. The vault was filled with meticulously organized archives, countless ledgers detailing groundbreaking scientific discoveries, revolutionary technological blueprints, and vast tracts of land containing untapped natural resources. The true fortune wasn't merely monetary, it was a legacy of knowledge, innovation, and strategic power. Standing amidst the vast archives of her family's true inheritance, Elara felt an overwhelming surge of emotion, awe mingled with a profound sense of validation as she gazed upon the meticulously preserved records of scientific breakthroughs and technological marvels. This wasn't just wealth, it was a testament to genius, to a lineage of brilliance that was now undeniably hers. The years of anonymity and longing at the orphanage dissolved, replaced by a powerful sense of identity and belonging. She was not just Elara, the orphan, she was Elara Ainsworth, inheritor of an extraordinary legacy. The weight of her past lifted, making way for a future brimming with purpose and unimaginable potential. This fortune, far beyond mere riches, gave her a profound sense of self. Her hands trembled as she touched the aged blueprints and complex schematics. This discovery was a revelation of her true heritage, connecting her directly to the minds that had envisioned these advancements. It redefined everything she thought she knew about herself and the world, bestowing upon her a responsibility she was, unexpectedly, ready to embrace. As Elara stood, awestruck by the true nature of her inheritance, the heavy vault door groaned open again, shattering the silence. Her heart leaped into her throat. Standing silhouetted in the entrance were three figures, the tall, slender man from the city, flanked by two burly enforcers. The Shadow Syndicate had finally found her. Their leader, a cold-eyed woman with an unnervingly calm demeanor, stepped forward, her voice devoid of emotion. "The Ainsworth legacy finally unearthed," she stated, her gaze sweeping over the vault's contents. "You've done our work for us, Orphan. Now step aside." Elara clutched the master diary, a sudden surge of protective defiance coursing through her veins. A tense standoff ensued. The syndicate clearly wanted the knowledge within the vault, not just the perceived monetary wealth. Elara knew she couldn't let them take it. Her family had protected this for generations, and it was now her responsibility to safeguard it. This was the confrontation Elias had warned her about, a desperate final test of her mettle. The syndicate leader, impatient and ruthless, gestured for her enforcers to advance. Elara knew brute force was futile. Her only weapon was the wisdom contained within the diary. Her gaze fell upon a hidden inscription on the illuminated pedestal, a final riddle from Elias, one she hadn't yet deciphered, but which she now understood was a last line of defense. To command the knowledge, one must understand its rhythm, the inscription read, beneath a complex diagram of interconnected gears and levers. It was a mechanical puzzle, subtly linked to the vault's core systems. The syndicate members, focused on the visible treasures, ignorantly assumed it was merely decorative, their greed blinding them to Elias's genius. Elara, recalling Elias's passion for clockwork and his cryptic references to the dance of time, began manipulating the gears with desperate precision. The syndicate leader, realizing too late what she was doing, roared orders to seize Elara, but the complex mechanism whirred to life, sending a blinding flash of light and a deafening sound throughout the vault, sealing the intruders in a cascade of ancient magic and modern mechanics. With the Shadow Syndicate contained and the Ainsworth legacy secured, Elara emerged from the mansion, no longer merely an orphan, but the inheritor of a vast, intellectual empire. The glowing crystalline orb, the culmination of Elias Ainsworth's life's work, hummed softly in her hand, a tangible symbol of the knowledge and profound responsibility she now carried. Her past was irrevocably redefined, and her future stretched out, limitless and vibrant. She knew her journey was far from over. The world urgently needed the Ainsworth innovations, but they had to be released carefully, responsibly, ensuring they served humanity's greater good, not individual greed or destructive ambition. Elara envisioned turning the magnificent, now restored ancestral mansion into a center for innovation and learning, a sanctuary where Elias's ultimate dream, a future built on shared knowledge and progress, could finally be realized. Elara, the girl who had started with nothing but a tattered diary and a heart full of yearning, now stood at the threshold of a new dawn. She carried the immense weight of her ancestors' genius and the boundless hope for a better future, ready to shape the world with the extraordinary fortune she had painstakingly discovered. Her story, a testament to resilience and destiny, had just truly begun.